What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and I know this is not the traditional intro that I've changed to as of late, but today I don't have as much time to edit. I'm on a time crunch right now, so we're just going to do the Shoutcast. But we have Victini, Shadow, I gotta change it to Shadow, bear with me, Shadow Gardevoir, and Alolan Raichu right here. This was a really fun team that I ran. I did run into some problems that Claydol could potentially core break this team, so what I would do if you're facing a lot of Claydols is swap Gardevoir to the lead and have Victini as the anchor, and then have Alolan Raichu with Grass Knot. Now, in these battles, I didn't have Grass Knot. Looking back, I should have, but that's just my opinion for that, so you guys copy these movesets and do that. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Victini on the lead versus Bruxish, the new fish right here. We're going to go ahead and swap into Raichu, and this thing is shredding me apart. This was the very first time I faced it in battle, so I was not aware how much damage it actually does, but it shreds me apart, and thankfully we do get a shield there with Thunder Punch, and we do get it low. Now, this is a good opportunity for Shadow Gardevoir to come in and farm down because we only take neutral damage from bites. We're going to go ahead and do that, and they decide to throw the charge move. Now, I believe this thing does have access to Aqua Tail and Psychic Fangs, so they go for the Psychic Fangs right there, which is fine. We do have a Bronzong that comes in. I'm like, this is not a good situation, but what I found with this team, and ultimately with Victini, as a lot of you may have noticed, is Victini with shield advantage is gonna sweep teams. It's absolutely incredible. We do get a final shield, so we're gonna go ahead and swap into the Victini. We are gonna be forced to shield right here. I really don't know the move count on Feint Attack with the potential Bulldoze from Bronzong, but we do see a Rapidash come in, so we're gonna go ahead and build up to double V create right here. Now, this is going to lower my defense, but a Body Slam will not KO me from this range, even with the defense drop. So we are able to farm down the Quick Attack, and now we can go for the V Create here. Sorry, delayed boom on the Rapidash there, and another boom! One shot to the Bronzong, and today we're booming. That's what this team does. All right, moving next one, we got Victini versus Bruxish again. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Force them to stay in and get ourselves shield advantage. This is like a really easy shield advantage opportunity. Now, you could stay in with Victini, go for the V create, and then swap in. But in this case, we're going to play this out exactly the same. And we're going to look to come in with the Shadow Gardevoir. Now, in the last game, right, I got hit with the Psychic Fangs. So I'm like, okay, I'll let the Psychic Fangs go through. And this time it was an Aqua Tail. It just happens that way. Now they bring in a Rapidash, which is beautiful because Charm is doing so much damage right there. And we have two shields. So we're going to go ahead and let this go through. And we're going to unleash Victini right here, everyone. We're going to be forced to shield a Body Slam, unfortunately, because it is going to still do a decent amount of neutral damage. But we should be able to farm down with Quick Attack. And then they bring in the Bruxish. It is very, very low on health, where I might just be able to farm down. So let's see what they decide to bring in. No, they decide to bring in Shadow Gardevoir. So I'm going to go ahead and load up on energy, go for the V create here. This is going to lower my attack, or my defense, I should say. So I wouldn't be surprised if they swap in, but we can still farm down. And now we have another V create ready to go to sweep this game. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Boom! One shot to the Gardevoir. You'll love to see it. All right, moving to the next one, we got Victini versus Claydol. This is when I realized, I'm like, Claydol's a part of this meta. I forgot about that. Building this team, had I remembered right off the top of my head when I was coming into to build my first team, seeing a Claydol, realized that I need to basically have a different order. I think Gardevoir on the lead, Victini in the back, Raichu safe swap with Grass Knot is the much better strategy. So we're going to go ahead and shield that Shadow Ball, but we got Claydol out of there. Claydol's gone thanks to Charm. This is beautiful. So we are going to be able to charm, or they charm us down. And now I'm like, I feel like I have to take the damage on Raichu and get the extra energy here because I think ultimately that's what I need. But they have their own Alolan Raichu in the back. I'm like, if I had the energy on Victini, this game would be over. But I brought in Raichu instead. Now I am forced to shield a Thunder Punch right there because I want to try to get off as many charge moves as I can with the Raichu as my switch clock is back up. And this is looking to be okay because they did let a Thunder Punch go through. So I might just be able to close this game out with Quick Attack depending on how they decide to dance the energy, which is ultimately what Alolan Raichu is all about. If you can manage that energy on Alolan Raichu, it is very, very dangerous, which is why I think pairing it with Victini can be very strong, especially when you have it on a backline to try to get those Clay Dolls out of the way, as Alolan Raichu safe swap could be very nice. Now, they will be able to get to the next charge move, and this, I believe, is going to be enough damage as it is going to be a wild charge. Boom, down goes my Victini. So that's going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one. We got Victini versus Bruxish again. This is like all I saw, just Bruxish on the lead. We go into Raichu. They instead decided to swap out, and I'm like, thank you for giving me an advantage, because Alolan Raichu is going to be able to take this one on the switch because we land that, and we sneak through the fast move as well, so I'm going to go ahead and shield. This is a guarantee flip the mid game. That way Shadow Gardevoir can be aligned to Bruxish. Now they decide to bring in their own Shadow Gardevoir, so I'm going to go ahead and go for Thunder Punches, and my hope is that I can get to one more in time, but I don't think I'm going to make it. And what's also cool about Victini, I do make it just in time. This is beautiful! 1 HP in a dream. We are able to make it there as we do get the final shield. But the really cool thing about Victini is that fire typing added in there allows you to resist charm. So we're going to go ahead and come in, and Bruxish is just going to get shredded so fast. This does not matter. I'm going to go ahead, and I believe I decide to shield on this one to stop the Psychic Fangs, as I should be able to farm down. And I believe the Gardevoir, we don't KO each other at the same time. I thought I was going to be able to do a simultaneous KO, so thankfully I can Quick Attack to take that one, but that was risky. Very, very close. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. We have Victini versus Victini on the lead. So this is a game of chicken of who wants to throw the first V-Create. Spoiler alert, don't be the first one to throw unless you're planning to bail, because you're going to take more damage. So they decide to go right away, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and load up, and they decided to bail. Rightfully so, and they did bring in a Slowbro. Now this Slowbro does have confusion, so I'm going to go ahead and build back up to another V-Create, and I'm actually going to swap in the Gardevoir right here, because it's not Poison Jab, it's Confusion. And what I want to do is try to be able to get to a Shadow Ball versus, I have to stop the Sludge Bomb with a shield. I want to try to be able to get to a Shadow Ball versus the Victini. But they instead decide to bring in their own Shadow Gardevoir right here, so we can do a ton of free charm damage. And then this is going to be a tough one because Victini can resist the charms, but we'll have to see. I decide to come in with the Victini and quick attack down, and we do get to it, which means we can now get to double V-Create here. And this should be getting the final shields from my opponent. They have no clue what I have in the back, but obviously a V-Create is going to do a decent amount of resisted damage. So if this, we're going to have to switch out right away. I don't want them to farm me down. But ultimately they do anyways because of the debuffs. But this is going to be a good game, as Victini won't be able to get to 2 V-Creates in time, as I can safely stop this first one and then go for a wild charge myself to close this game out. So that's going to be a good game, very well played. Had the Slowbro, I could have come in with Alolan Raichu as well, because we would be doing neutral damage and resisting the confusions right there. So we do have a Bronzong here on the lead, so that might have been a misplay in the last game, but that's okay. We have a Bronzong here on the lead, they swap into the Bruxish, so I'm going to go ahead and actually go for a V-Create first. Yes, I believe it's water typing, so this is going to be resisted, but we get a shield anyways. It does so much damage. Now I'm going to swap into Shadow Gardevoir and just look to charm down. This is beautiful. Now, I might have to give up a shield here, but I decide not to, calling the potential Psychic Fangs. Remember how before, first one was Psychic Fangs, second one was Aqua Tail. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to risk it right there. Let's see what happens. And the Bronzong does come back in, so it doesn't get too much health. We have Victini with some energy, and we have Alolan Raichu. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Victini right here. Overload on energy. I know they're going to go for a charge move, so I'm going to have to stop it. And we got to be careful about when they swap out, but I want to try to go for back-to-back here. So we do have the back-to-back. They didn't swap out, so this first one's going to be forcing that shield unless they decide to let it go. And that now we can go for the second one. This is just, it's so much damage. It's beautiful. I love Victini. Boom! One-shots it, and now we swap out right away into Raichu, and there's going to be a Rapidash in the back. So that's going to be a good game, as we can go for the Wild Charge right here for a ton of neutral damage to close this game out. Boom! Down goes the Rapidash. I think that one was shiny as well. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. Victini versus Raichu on the lead. Okay, quick attack right here, and that's actually going to be Thunder Shock Raichu as well. We're going to go ahead and go for the V-Create right away, and my hope is to try to catch a charge move on the Alolan Raichu, so I'm going to go ahead and swap, but I don't catch it in time. Granted, they throw it anyways, so I'm going to let this go. And it's actually going to be the Grass Knot for a ton of neutral damage, but they bring in a Cresselia, which is a really unique situation for me because I take no damage from Psycho Cut. This is what's beautiful about Alolan Raichu in some of these matchups, is we can just do so much damage that I might just try to shield right here and take Switch. But instead, I decide to let it go. You know what? The Cresselia is out of energy. We're going to go ahead and come in and load up with the Gardevoir right now, as Charm does a good amount of damage, but hopefully it gets us closer to that Shadow Ball to force the shield number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that Grass Knot and look to farm down. Now, we're still far ways away from Shadow Ball right here, but they bring in a Rapidash, which is perfectly fine, as we can safely, I believe I let this go. No, I decided to shield at the last second. All right. We're going to go ahead and just try to Charm down. I swap into Victini to try to catch the charge move. I'm like, oh no, they're going to get to high horsepower right here. This is high horsepower or Mega Horn. This is going to hurt. No, it was just the Body Slam, so we do survive. And now they bring in the Alolan Raichu. My hope was to try to catch the charge move and then just charm down everything, but ultimately they threw anyways. But now they're going to be forced to throw right here, and our Gardevoir has a good amount of energy left where I think one more charm is going to be able to take it. Now, they went for a Grass Knot right there, which I thought surely they must have had Thunder Punch. But ultimately, Gardevoir doesn't care. Boom! Takes it out. And that's going to be a good game. Very well played. These games were so fast as well. I don't know about you guys, but I did 3 sets in like 25 minutes. Like 20 minutes. It was so fast. All right, we got Raichu here on the lead once again. This time it is going to be Volt Switch as the fast move. So we're going to look to do the same thing. I want to try to catch the charge move on my own Alolan Raichu, hoping that's going to be an electric type move, right? So we're going to go ahead and see if they go for another one, and now I try to catch it, but they loaded up some more. So this is probably going to be a Grass Knot as they saw the Alolan Raichu come in, which it is. A ton of neutral damage, but that's okay. I should be able to get to the Wild Charge here in time and hopefully force a shield again from the opponent, because this might just do enough resisted damage. So we do get 2 shields. Well, that's good. You guys know me, when all shields are down, Victini goes to town, so we're going to go ahead and come in with the Gardevoir right here and make sure we charm down. We have to give up 1 shield, but ultimately the charm down is going to do enough damage where Victini should be able to sweep it, and the final Pokemon, or the second Pokemon I should say, is going to be a Cresselia. Now, this is kind of the tough situation where I'm close enough to a Shadow Ball where I'm going to give up a shield here because I can just straight up take out the Cresselia, but they instead decide to swap into Malamar, which, beautiful swap by my opponent. You caught it, but boom! Like, come on, dude. 1, 2, like, you're gone. You're gone. Like, you caught the charge move, but you got deleted in the process. Like, even though it did neutral, oh, that was beautiful. Now, they do take us down, which is fine. Victini's going to take this one. That's a good game. I get to the V-Create. So it was a beautiful catch by my opponent. Very well timed. Good job on counting the fast moves. But ultimately, Malamar, it's like, he did not want to get thrown out there. And then he just got thrown out into a Shadow Gardevoir. So that was pretty fun. All right, good game. Moving to the next one. We have Victini versus Malamar here on the lead. So this is kind of a tough one. We're going to swap into the Raichu instead. Looking to load up on some energy. Now, they will get to a Foul Play here, which does do super effective damage. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. And what I'm hoping here is to try to survive 1 Foul Play. I don't think it's really tough, but I decided to go for a Wild Charge. In hindsight, maybe Thunder Punches should have been a better call for neutral damage because we get a shield. And now I'm definitely going to go down to a Foul Play. So we're going to go ahead and shield again because I want to try to get these shields away from my opponent. So I'm going to go for a Thunder Punch now. And I'm 1 Volt Switch away from a 3rd Thunder Punch. And my hope is that I can get to it. So we do get the final shield, but no, I don't get to it in time. So we are going to go down, but all shields are gone. Malamar might have been the hardest answer to Victini on their team. Might have been. We don't know. We take down the Malamar. And they have a normal Hypno. My Gardevoir's Shadow right there. It's going to be a normal Hypno in the back. And they decide to go on 4, which means this is going to be a punch. So likely Thunder Punch right here, which is good because we survive long enough now to get to a Shadow Ball. And then that final Pokemon, I don't know what it is, but a Victini in the no shield situation has a good opportunity, and it's a Medicham. Well, that's game over. So they do decide to surrender, and it's going to be a good game. All right, moving into the next one, we have Victini on the lead versus Medicham. So very, very positive for us. Our whole team does well against a Medicham, and honestly, I think Medicham's going to have a hard time doing well. I know it's ranked high, but I feel like it's just going to have a hard time with the amount of Pokemon that take resisted damage from its fast moves and charge moves. I mean, granted, Ice Punch is neutral to some Pokemon, but ultimately, like, Victini here does not care. We're going for another V-Create. This is going to take out the Medicham. We'll have to see what that final Pokemon is going to be as they just let it go down. And they decide to bring in a Hypno. So I swap into Raichu right away, saving the Victini just in case there is a Steel type in the back like a Bronzong. And they bring in a Slowbro, and this is the Poison Jab one, which is even better because it keeps this thing away from Shadow Gardevoir, right? So we're going to go ahead and go for Wild Charges right here. Again, another situation where I could probably get away with going straight Thunder Punches, but getting rid of shields is always nice unless I one-shot. So we got 2 shields down. We have 2 shields ourselves. We have Victini with a good amount of health where I should be able to get to a V-Create in time. And then we have our Gardevoir safely in the back. So we're going to go ahead and give up the first shield. And then we should be able to outpace, get to this V-Create, get this thing out of there. And then I can't remember what it was a Hypno, wasn't it? We're going to go ahead and go for the V-Create here. Take out the Slowbro, boom, and then the Hypno is going to come in, and we're going to lock this thing down. Now, this is a unique situation where this could be a bait, but it's actually going to be a Shadow Ball, which is fine. It could be a bait, and then they get to a Shadow Ball, right? But ultimately, Victini would have gotten to the next V-Create in the race there because we resist confusion. So, sorry I messed that up. All right, we're back. Moving to the next one, we have Shadow Gardevoir here on the lead. So a pretty good lead matchup for us. And they decide to swap out into Malamar, so we're going to go ahead and bring in the Gardevoir right away. Just raw charm damage, and I am going to go ahead and give up a shield here as well, because I want to do as much charm damage on the back end versus their own Gardevoir if I can. And I might just be able to get to a Shadow Ball. It's going to be extremely close, but I actually don't get to it in time. It's a double KO, so they only have 1 Pokemon left, and it's going to be a Rapidash. So this is still going to be a close battle. I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Victini because I already had a lot of energy on it. And now I'm going to have to go for V-Creates. Ultimately, Alolan Raichu should be able to take this with 1 Wild Charge. But if I can get 2 V-Creates off right here, which I do, this is looking very, very good for us. Because now they're going to have to throw energy, which I can safely let go through. Like if this is a high horsepower, if it's a Mega Horn, if it's a Body Slam, like, we just let it go. It is going to be the Body Slam, so we survive, and we swap now into Alolan Raichu. And we should be able to safely shield this charge move, and then go for the Wild Charge, because we're 1 fast move away. So it was another Body Slam shield bait right there, but we do get to the Wild Charge in time. And that is going to be a good battle, very well played. This team was fast-paced, razzle-dazzle, booms! Lots of booms. Victini with V-Create, Shadow Gardevoir, and Alolan Raichu. And again, solid sets with this team as well. If you guys want to run this, my hindsight, seeing I saw the Claydol once and it made me think, yes, I need to account for Claydol. Put Gardevoir on the lead, Victini in the back, and then give Alolan Raichu Grass Knot, and you have a much better opportunity and coverage in this meta. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.